Hey guys, it's Kay Journey, and I am back today with another journal setup, but this one I'm calling a commonplace planner journal thing, even though I don't know if that's what that's what it really is. It's more like a research and development notebook for being a successful author, and also just a better human. But I'm calling it a commonplace because that seems to be the closest equivalent to what I can find for it. So this is, again, one of those same notebooks that I used before. The Emoji dotted paper notebook, the A5 size. And it's got all that same cool fancy stuff in the back, the stencils and the bookmarks and the pen holder. And I might add the pen holder to this one. In fact, I think I will, because I like it very much on the other one. I have a tendency to want to use the same pens throughout a journal for some reason, but then when I do my setups, I use like 5 different pens, which is also something that I wanted to avoid with this one. So I am doing just a plain black and white setup. I might eventually go in with like a highlighter and do some underlining and some decorating if I decide that it's just too severe for me, because, just the black and the blank page is it's definitely a look. It's a very simplistic look. I don't know how I feel about it. We're going to see. I'm going to try just doing just black pen for now, and maybe some highlighters. And when I get around to adding in my index and things like that, I am going to do some color coding. So there will be an index right after this key page, and my index is going to be based on the month that it's in rather than the page it's on. And I have like little sticky tabs that are coming in the mail that have the months on them that I will be adding to like the cover page for every month, so that I know, okay, from here on out is the stuff that I studied in November. And it's going to be, I'm not going to put too high of expectations on myself. I do plan on having some things that I'm like, okay, I really want to get these done this month, but if I don't get them done in a certain month, I will bump them to the next month. It's not a big deal. Or if I'm like halfway through reading a book and it starts in, November, and I finish it in December, that's fine. I'll just make a note of it that it bleeds into December when it's in the index. Oh, and so I think it was the last video that I did where I talked about wanting to use a different font. So this font is, I think it's called, okay, I had to pause the voiceover there and look it up, and it's called Hipster Script Pro. And, normally I'm not too into hipster stuff. It's just not my vibe. But I really, really like this lettering, and I do it very imperfectly, and it's fine. And doing the lowercase letters was beyond my mental capacity at the moment. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I did my normal, just capital letters. And excuse me for if I cough or sniff in this voiceover. I am still sick and it is what it is. And like I said before, the whole point of this notebook was actually just to start keeping track of like the books that I'm reading and the things that I'm researching to be a better author and to be a more productive person, and just to kind of get a handle on this whole being a business owner in general. So I wanted to make sure that I gave myself as much as I needed up front here to kind of set up a basis for what I'm looking for and the things that I'm researching. So I'm creating this page right here, right before the November page, that's about like the books that I plan on reading or that I want to read. I'm also likely going to do a tip in that has, the different topics that I want to research, because I tend to come up with those on the fly, and then they end up on 3x5 cards that are literally scattered all over my desk. And it's kind of funny. It's weird having like all of these multiple different notebooks that I need for different things. But every time I put them all in one, I lose things. And every time I create too many that aren't very specific, I end up like all over the place. So I'm trying to keep the number of notebooks that I have to a minimum, while also maintaining that I need to have separate notebooks for things. So this is kind of, it's my R&D notebook, but calling it a commonplace planner is totally fine. That's like a good term for it, I think, because it is kind of like a blend of a reading journal and, notes that I take from things that I research on the internet, and my own thoughts and my own, like, what are my goals? What do I want to accomplish with this? And so these pages that I'm setting up right here, I don't remember what these kind of pages are called, but I am doing this for the first book. I'm going to be going through and I'm going to be creating notes in that big main section, and then in the area on the side, the skinny area, I'm going to be writing like, the main ideas that I come up with while I'm taking the notes. And then on the bottom will be like the key concept that I want to take away from the thing that I'm researching that's applicable to that page, if that makes sense. And right here, I actually forgot to add a section for writing, so I will be doing that at the end. You know, I'm sick and I'm going to be imperfect, and it is what it is. Which is fine. It's just adding it to the bottom. I don't think I'm going to make a title for the notebook on the top. I think I'm just going to leave it, but I have not decided yet. And you'll see in a minute that I'm actually going to be adding or coloring in those letters. Okay, so for November, I have 2 books that I'm planning on at least skimming through. I'm not sure. November is halfway over and I have been really sick and I am very behind on my writing, so I might not get to these, but I might get to them if I decide that it's more important than getting the writing done. I haven't decided yet. And you know, I wishy-washy. So these are the 2 that I'm considering the most right now for November. I will probably settle on this one and then do this one in December. But then I am also at the moment researching and research topics. This is what I'm talking about, the 3x5 cards. They're literally everywhere. Anyway, so the main topic that I have been researching right now is like creating YouTube content for authors. Like, how do I build a community on YouTube as fast as possible and in the most effective way possible, if that makes sense. I really want to kind of start just basically building a community around myself of authors and readers and just kind of get out of my shell. I spend a lot of time in my head and I don't have many author friends in real life, and I'm starting to kind of step out of my comfort zone and start building friends online. So this is kind of part of that. I would really like to just build a community and yeah, so that's my main goal with my YouTube channel. And then so this one is Seven Figure Fiction. I'm sure everybody sees it everywhere. This is the Butter book. I have read this before, but I found after I read it that sorry, I bumped my camera. I found after I read it that a lot of the ideas and concepts in here were really, really cool, but very ethereal. So it's actually, this book is the reason that I set up those last pages in there, because I really want to dig deep into the concepts and then kind of give myself room to like brainstorm and mess around with them a bit. So I'm going to see how those page setups work for me instead of just like a straight notebook page. We'll see. Okay, so then in December, I wanted to focus on writing more diverse characters. Um, I am a white woman living in the northern United States, and I think that I cannot take it for granted that I can write diverse characters without accidentally, inadvertently caricaturizing people. And I really desperately don't want to do that. So I'm doing the research and I've been following a lot of, I mean, for the last several years, I've been following a lot more diverse content creators on TikTok and YouTube and things like that. And I feel like I understand enough to know that I don't understand enough about diversity. So I'm doing the research because I want to make sure that I do right by my characters and right by my readers, because I desperately hope that I will not be limited to an audience that looks like me. And I'm not having only characters that look like me and have life experience like me. I think that's very limiting. So anyway, this is my first deep dive into kind of writing characters that are very different from me. And I kind of started reading this a little while ago. I read like the first chapter. There's my bookmark. In fact, yeah. Um, and then I kind of ended up getting really distracted and doing other things. So I really want to get back to it. So that's most likely this will be in November. I'm hoping to jump into this in November, but this might be a December thing. And then I've got more books that I'm going to be working through. But I am very, very behind in my writing right now. Last week I had a very sick kid, and then I started getting sick, and then there was the whole election debacle, which knocked me on my butt for a couple of days emotionally. I just couldn't focus. Anyway, so now I'm back to wanting to get to work, and I'm starting to feel better. You can't hear it in my voice because I'm still very like congested and yucky, but my energy is back. So I'm going to get back to work with writing, and if I don't end up getting to either of these books in November, I'm not going to bully myself about it. It is what it is. I just want to I just want to catch up and do the best I can, and hopefully over the next 2.5 weeks that we've got left of November, I can catch up. Maybe? Question mark. Probably not. Oh, that's Cindy. The saying question mark. Yeah, I like Cindy Gunterbaldo. I'll link her down below for no other reason than that I love her. But she says the word question mark out loud, and I just totally mimicked her. That's funny. I'm gonna drink some more coffee and get to work writing and try not to make an ass out of myself anymore today. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.